ban on pornographic material on the internet to curb the increasing cases of early pregnancies reported among candidates who sat this year's national examinations. They spoke during the official close of the 2018 KCSE examination at Nairobi School. Our Cecilia Wakesha Mathuva has the details.
The month-long Kenya Certificate of Secondary Examinations finally came to an end on Wednesday afternoon. Stakeholders in the education sector converged at Nairobi School to conclude the exercise. But the discussion on the increasing cases of early pregnancies amongst this year's female candidates is continually picking up momentum among the stakeholders. In this year's KCPE and KCSE, hundreds of candidates sat the exams while pregnant, while many others even delivered while doing the exams. For instance, Kitui was among the counties that registered the highest number, with 72 KCSE candidates reported to be pregnant, while another 38 candidates had newborns delivered when the exams began. NEC CEO Professor George Magoha is now observing that pornographic content available on the internet is to blame for the trend, and hence it was time for action to be taken concerning it.
I would also urge those with authorities and powers to consider blocking those pornographic sites from our internet, because I don't know why they are left open. In China, they have been blocked. It has nothing to do with democracy.
The stakeholders once again assured that there were minimal cases of cheating in this year's examinations. So far, 4 students who were caught with mobile phones in exam rooms have since been deregistered, with 10 exam officials who were found using private means to transport exam materials being suspended. On Tuesday, 8 Ambira High School students who confessed to have cheated in the exams on a video that went viral on social media were remanded for 7 days as investigations continue.
But since they confessed, then they must give us the information that they have. We also confiscated some funds, as you know, from that school, which these funds are being held, and we're retrieving information from the funds. And so in the fullness of time, we'll have all the information that we need.
It is now outdated to say that teaching family health in school should be delayed. I think we, including myself, we are very stupid. We have been surpassed by the social media.
Some 660,000 Form 4 candidates sat their KCSE that came to a closure on Wednesday after art and drawing practicals, computer and home science. Cecilia Kesho Madhuva, KTN News.
All right, still on that issue, let's now speak to Jonathan Wesai, who's an education expert by way of phone. Good morning, Jonathan, and thank you very much for joining us here on News Center. From where you stand, what do you think is to blame for early teenage pregnancies?
Good morning, Ashley, and thank you for having me. Teenage pregnancies are not caused by pornography or any of these things that our nation's leadership is jumping on. Teenage pregnancies are caused by human beings, and most of them are adults. Most of them are caregivers to these children in the name of teachers, people who are related to them, and people they look up to. So taking the direction that the Ministry of Education is beginning to take, which is banning pornography and running around in circles, is not going to resolve the matter. Many of the children who are getting engaged in early sex, literally, and that is what it is, are victims of adults, and these are crimes that need to be dealt with using the Sexual Offences Act. What I want to paint a picture for the nation to understand. We have children who have been brought up literally in the church, children who are sons and daughters of eminent bishops and churchmen who get into drugs and who engage in early sex. We have children in this country whose parents are commercial sex workers, but the children don't turn out to be commercial sex workers. Although they know what their parents do, they see their parents do it. So it is a function of upbringing. We need to have the nation's feet on the ground so that we prepare our children to grow up in a way that is morally acceptable. And with morality also, actually, it depends with the standpoint. So we are looking for quick fixes in a problem that is structural. It is the fiber of our society that is broken that we need to be mending. Ashley.
All right, you've mentioned that we need to mend the fiber of our society. How exactly do we do that?
We need to begin, and this is where I fault the education reform process that we are going through now. We need to prepare a new generation of teachers. The education reform process would be more successful if a set of teachers come in and inculcate. We have from the history of parents and caregivers. Parents should not be seen as people whose only role is buying uniform and making sure that children go to school. They are the first teachers to these children. The education a child receives at home before they become of age to go to school is very critical, and it can shape the rest of their lives.
Right, so let's just say the stakeholders go ahead and ban pornography content on the internet. What measures can be taken to ensure that, early pregnancies don't occur?
And that is why I'm saying we need to engage the people who are in the every day so that they know that they have an obligation in protecting the rights of our girls. What is happening is since 2003, especially when the NAC government declared free primary education, the parents and the guardian moved away from the school and they left the parenting business to teachers. The teacher is overwhelmed. That is why the teacher needs support from outside the classroom. And that is why I'm saying the early years of socialization form the first phase of education for any child. Under the new curriculum, the child is supposed to get to school when they get to 4 years. So what will be happening to the child at home before they get to 4 years? They need to know what defines a public space and what defines a private space. In the sense that a child who is 4 years should be able to say no, should be able to raise an alarm if somebody touches them inappropriately. And that is something they need to grow up with. But we are letting these children be brought up by a system of education where a teacher is handling over 100 learners in a classroom. It becomes very difficult for the teacher to notice even when a child is distressed. The child does not have room in school to go and confide in somebody because there is no space. Teachers are running from one class to another. The guiding and counseling teachers the Ministry of Education is providing are too preoccupied with other administrative issues to sit down and dig down and get a solution to a psychological issue. So we need more psychosocial support in and out of school. We need parents to take their role, take their space, bring up their children because it is their responsibility.
All right, thank you very much, Jonathan Messiah, there, an education expert, just giving his views on what we should do to end early child pregnancies, early teenage pregnancies, that is. Now, away